Uhuru allowed him to penetrate in Central. And once he penetrated, it was difficult to remove him. So, with that background, it was very clear that there was no way William Samoei Ruto was going to give Rigathi any space. The pressure cooker is the pressure cooker. His fix is burning. Boiling point.
So now
the thing, the only thing that William can do is to make sure that he doesn't come from that pressure cooker. Why do you expect him to talk about what?
Do you generally think?
And you already crashed your.
Do you think Rigathi is the opposite?
And that is why he has cleverly reintroduced one man, 1 shilling, one vote. He must run with that one. And heavy taxation on people. He doesn't care about Monenche anymore. He doesn't care about the hustler anymore. He is happy to inflict pain on Kenyans. So Rigathi should move out very quickly, like his boss did. What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not for going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
A very good day to you and welcome to Philip Kisia Unscripted. My name is Jadiel Kabiro. It's always a pleasure to have you joining us for this conversations to build this country as we progress with President William Ruto's administration. Today, our political conversation, is there a beef between Rigathi Gachagua and President William Ruto? What is happening? Is Gachagua justified to come out now and apologize after all the things they said about President Uhuru Kenyatta? That is my conversation with Philip Kisia, leadership and governance expert, former Nairobi town clerk, ex-KICC CEO. He has done so many things. Thank you for making time for me this Friday as we're heading over for the weekend.
Yeah, thank you for creating time to see me once again with your team.
Yes.
I'm very happy to be here, as always.
Yesterday's show was fire. People have been telling me that. But what are your highlights for today before we even talk about Gachagua climbing Mount Kenya?
I thought he had descended. Rigathi is my buddy, man. At least he's very truthful in whatever he says. He doesn't garnish anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't pretend. So to that extent, he's my guy, man. So
I
got to listen. But anyway,
yes.
This week's highlights. Condolences to the people of the Great Republic of Iran for having lost their president, President Raisi. Who was in Kenya just the other day, not too long ago. I think it's less than 2 months or so. So losing a friend like that one who we believe was close to Kenyans is a great loss, not only to Iran, but to people of Africa. Remember, he was here, and then again, we lost our General Gola, under similar circumstances, so a great loss. I'm told again, even his bodyguard happened to be there. So I think it taught me one thing, that life is transient, and it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how powerful you believe you are. One day, and one day for sure, you'll go down 6 feet. No. And I want you to play that video. See. I think there's many things that we can learn from the death of Raisi. Again, how humble these people are, despite the fact that they have so many minerals. It's a rich country, but just look at the way they do things in modesty.
We're watching that video on screen right now. You're looking at them burying him. It's very simple, Kisia.
Yeah, it is simple. And that's why I'm saying, Jade, there's something to learn about from these people. The simplicity, despite the fact that they can spend. They can live in opulently, but you can see the modesty, the simplicity. A whole head of state just being buried like an ordinary person, because they believe that at the end of the day, we are human beings. We are the same. We were born in similar circumstances, and when we go down, it doesn't matter whether you're buried with gold. You will be buried 6 feet below. I think something to learn from this. The other thing, of course, is. Last week, I'm sure you saw, my friend Honorable Kabando, and Dr. Ekuru Aukot, we presented a petition to the UN Assembly, White House, President Biden, Kamala Harris, as I think the chair of the Congress, Mike Johnson, the Democratic Party of America, and the Republican Party. And we copied to the relevant people here, President William Samoei Ruto, and our IG, and of course the African Union. I know sometimes you young people can be lazy. But allow me to present this one.
Let me try to read it.
You know, read it so that when you write stories, I'm sure you can write and understand exactly
the proposed deployment of 1,000 Kenyan National Police officers to Haiti County for own use.
Correct. So, what are we saying in that petition?
Yeah.
And what is really driving us? One, we are a trio who believe that the rule of law must be followed. We also believe that we must be prepared to leave our countries to the generations that come better than we found them. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in sovereignty, that people should not interfere with sovereign states without being invited. So if you look at our petition, so that is actually what is driving us. And we've spoken to people in Haiti, and they have made it very clear. There are two things that have happened, if you didn't know. One, they have sworn by their mothers' graves that this will be a battle of the century, that they are prepared to have a situation similar to Afghanistan. They have sworn that they actually fought for their independence and won against superpowers, Spain, Germany, and France. They won. And, you know, they are not well equipped, but they were able to defeat the global imperialists. Okay? They have also told us that if the Kenyan government thinks that, you know, that you're going to whitewash them, they are ready for you because they are determined to fight this war like they have fought other 10 missions before. They have rebranded. They have bought uniform. I don't know where they're getting the money from. Maybe the same America that is facilitating. I don't know, because where they're getting money, you know, to buy ammunition like they have acquired. AR-15, Galile AE -10B, very sophisticated ammunition. The other challenge they're talking about is the team that was presumably representing the Haitis was handpicked. So they're saying there's no input from Haitians. And they're saying on that account, they are going to fight a vicious war. Now, if you look at our petition, we're saying that one, Kenya, the Kenyan force doesn't have the tactical advantage to fight contain such a mission. Kenya is in violation of Article 270 that restricts the operation of the National Police Service within the borders of Kenya. Of course, Article, I think 107, 108, 109 gives the president some discretional powers or authority, to carry out certain action. But then that discretional authority is overridden by Chapter 14 of the National Police Service. We're also saying that President William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, signed an agreement. It's not even an agreement, it's a piece of paper. He signed with somebody called Oriel Henry, who was just an ordinary citizen.
He was a prime minister?
He was not, because his prime ministership should have ended within 6 months. He extended to over 3 years. We are saying that by the time he was coming back and signing that thing, he had been forced out of office. So he signed this thing, the so-called agreement, with a stranger, with an ordinary Kenyan, ordinary citizen, Haitian citizen. We're also saying that there was no formal request from the government of Haiti. There's no formal request. We've not seen that request. When you're signing with a stranger, he's not representing the people of Haiti. We're also saying that there was no proper public participation. So we are saying that this agreement is illegal, null, and void and contemptuous.
And therefore,
because there's a court order stopping this matter.
And therefore, what should be done? What do you want to be addressed? You're
we
saying for own use. You have also not told me what for own use. Whose own use?
Those are minor details. Don't look at the details. Look at the content. Now, Jed, people are asking, okay, what next? I mean, if the American government can disobey obedience of court orders, then we shall call out the American government as it is. Yeah?
Yeah.
A government of Biden who is trying to push an agenda that we do not, as Africans, understand.
Yeah.
Okay? At least the Americans, from this, from this mission, Americans are very clear on what they want. They are very clear. Biden is fighting a very vicious war, and it's 50-50. So he must do something, to regain confidence. I don't know about President Ruto. Maybe he wants to be seen as a strong boy in Africa. But there is nothing for the people of Kenya in this mission. Similarly, there is nothing for the people of Haiti in this mission. Okay. And therefore, this is a mission to glorify people, to satisfy their own egos. It's about interest, personal interest.
Okay. So let's get into the conversation for today. I'll go ahead and read this proposal. If you want the proposal, you can just send us an email through the this petition. If you want, you can send us an email through the email on the description. But let's talk about what is happening in Mount Kenya. It seems like there is a resurgence of factionalism within the Kenya Kwanza administration, reminiscing that one of Tanga Kieleweke, because now you're looking at Governor Kahiga Mutai on this side, and then you're looking at the likes of Ndindi Nyoro on this other side. Recent remarks by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua saying we need the mountain united, calling out President Uhuru Kenyatta to come out and unify them. I want to play two clips of Rigathi Gachagua yesterday and another one before, what caused this hatred between him and Uhuru Kenyatta.
Uhuru Kenyatta amerogwa, anapigana na watu yake. Wala tulimsaidia William Ruto. Bila William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta hangekuwa rais wa Kenya. Kweli ama uongo? Amerogwa na hii mzee wa kitendawili, amegeuka watu yake. Mimi Rigathi Gachagua ndio nilipatiwa Uhuru Kenyatta na Moi mwaka wa 2002. Hakuna kitu alijua. Nilimtoa kwa baa, alikuwa mlevi. Nikamuuta, nikamsaidia, nikamfanya akakuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Tafadhali rais, usiue mimi vile baba yako aliua J.M. Kariuki. Ninakuomba.
Kila modo wothe wale wa UDA, wale wa Jubilee, wale wa Azimio, angikorwo turaria uguo ndiraria, tuhanire, turekanire, tuikare twe kindu giki. Giuga nginya Uhuru wa Kenyatta ni mwana witu, oke tunyitane. How nega?
Kisia, are we looking at Kieleweke Tanga because now he's tangering in Mount Kenya, stopping at different villages and asking people, hey, see, we unite, see Uhuru akuje. What are we looking at, Kisia?
I think what goes around
comes around.
Comes around.
Ama vindu vichenjanga.
No, there's no vindu vichenjanga. It's about personal interest. You see, let's look at the video which you have just played, and then let's put it into context.
Yeah.
Now, the video is very interesting, and because Rigathi is an honest man, I would want to help him out. But first things first. The first thing, he accused a dead person. He talked of Jomo Kenyatta having killed J.M. Kariuki. And interestingly, that parliamentary commission or team that was investigating the death of J.M. Kariuki was headed by my late father-in-law. Okay? But he accused a dead person who cannot defend himself. That was bad manners. So he needs, first of all, and I'm willing to take him to the grave of Jomo Kenyatta in CBD for him to ask for forgiveness. We must talk to Jomo Kenyatta and ask for forgiveness. Oh. The second, yes, we Africans. The second one, he was the one encouraging people like my good friend and former party leader Kuria to to talk unpalatable things that, you know, you normally say that can be very hot.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
At least I don't have rough edges. Yeah. Talk about urinating at the gates of Mama Ngina Kenyatta, our grandmother, our mother, the first lady of the Republic of Kenya. I want him, together with his boys and troops, we go to Ishaweria and seek for forgiveness from Mama Ngina Kenyatta for the abuses we did, we said, the bad things we said that we should never have said. You cannot show your nakedness after circumcision to your mother. We Africans. You cannot do that. Oh. And even threatening to do that is unforgivable. We cannot forgive this fellow for having said. But let us go to Ishaweria. The third thing, they stole Uhuru Kenyatta's goats at his farm somewhere, I think in Thika. Yeah. They stole goats, slaughtered them, and they harassed Uhuru Kenyatta, and they were celebrating. I am also willing to accompany him, Rigathi, because an honest man, a good man, at least he remembers that he could have been infested by jiggers at one point, because he has told us that he came from a very poor background. I am also willing to accompany him to go to Uhuru Muigai wa Kenyatta to seek for forgiveness. So we want, you know, when you're asking for forgiveness, it must be genuine. It must be coming from your heart. But let's get into context, having said that. Number one, you know, this whole arrangement of Kenya Kwanza was and is sitting on a weak sand, weak foundation. We've seen it. It was a marriage of convenience. It was not going to go anywhere. And I don't know what went into Rigaji's head to imagine that William Ruto was going to accommodate him.
Why would you
William
say that?
Ruto was not going to accommodate him because William Ruto has been in politics for a long time. I think Rigathi just came in the other day. And William knows what one can do with the power. William knows. Uhuru allowed him a window of 5 years to build up a war chest. And he did it very effectively. Those 5 years. He only blocked him in the second term. Okay? Uhuru allowed him to penetrate in Central. And once he penetrated, it was difficult to remove him. So, with that background, it was very clear that there was no way William Samoei Ruto was going to give Rigathi any space.
But Ruto said he will not allow what happened to him happen
that was lip service. You can see what he's doing. You can see even the body language, you know. And even when Rigathi talked about shares in government, who came out very strongly and discounted that statement?
The president.
It is none other than the president. He actually, I know he didn't mean it, but he was out to embarrass his number two. He said, you know what? This is no government of shares. We are all in it. Elections are over. But you can see this is a government of shares because half of the government is occupied with people from the president's backyard. Half. And then another 30% is occupied by people from Central. So these are government of shares. And then 20% of government is occupied by the rest of Kenya. So Rigathi was right, and that's what I keep on saying. He's an honest man. This is a government of shares. Then, of course, what has William done? William is a smart politician. He knows that this is a block of 7 million votes, or 7.5 million votes. You cannot allow them to keep intact. Big mistake. So divide them as much as you can. So William has divided the mountain. One side, Rigathi is holding a small share. On the other side, his boys in UDA, Ndindi Nyoro and the likes, and Ishungwa are holding a small share of the mountain. And then there's another share being held by Martha Karua and Kioni, a small share. But you see what has all this confirmed? That the mountain has not yet released Uhuru Kenyatta. I think they've come to the realization that if they have to stick as one, and that's why now Rigathi is willing to pay homage. But it's not, it's pleading, oh, let's work together. If I were him, you go straight as a man and apologize in the manner that I've already told you. Go to the grave, Jomo Kenyatta, I'm accompanying him. Go to Mama Ngina, I'll accompany him. Go to the son of Jomo, I'll accompany him. So there is also the Haki coalition, again, which is Nini. Now, let me get back to your question about Kieleweke and Tangatanga.
Yes.
I think history is a good thing. Although I never studied history, I studied up to all levels. But it's a good thing. You know, this thing is playing back. If you look at the way William Ruto discredited his boss, he was always on the rooftop, going around campaigning, instead of assisting the president to deliver on his agenda and promise, to deliver on his legacy projects. He spent 5 years campaigning. He spent 5 years, discrediting his boss, undermining his boss. Okay? It is now the same thing that William is facing. That is, number two has realized that I can only survive in this regime if I completely take hold of my block, of my backyard. If I don't do that, I will perish. Number two, he is using the same tactics that William Ruto used, going around on the rooftop. He has started with Mount Kenya. That's where his base is. He wants to recapture. He wants to get it back. So he's spending his time, not in the office now. Rigathi is never in the office. The other day he said he spent, when he took off from the public space, he said he had gone to the mountain to pray. But people are saying he was in a prop box somewhere praying.
Actually,
but he was somewhere praying. Okay? So that prayer, when he was facing Mount Kenya, I think the gods have told him, go back to your people, go back and ask for forgiveness. So I think it's a replay of what happened. There's nothing new with what is happening because politics in Kenya is local. Politics in Kenya is tribal. Politics in Kenya is not about ideology. It's about what I can get from it.
Why do you think the president is silent on this matter? Of course, he has gone abroad, but why do you think he has been silent since Rigathi's silence? And then we're looking at this split in Kenya Kwanza, and he's not talking about it. And could this have led to Gachagua's meditation and prayers in the mountain? It could just be the case.
You're not being kind to my friend.
I'm just asking about his silence.
You are being very unkind to my friend.
I'm just asking.
You see, people are allowed to meditate. People are allowed. People are allowed to take a break. So if Rigathi took a break to go and talk to the gods so that he can get certain answers, let it be. But you see, you ask me why the president is mum on this one. What do you expect him to say? Because he has achieved what he wanted to achieve. He has fixed Rigathi. Rigathi cannot breathe. He is stepping on his neck. Rigathi has nothing. He can't move. He doesn't have people behind him. Because if you have people behind you, you can say, man, if you joke around, I'll move out with my people. But in this case, all the parliamentarians from Central Province, almost 95%, are in Parliament courtesy William Ruto. They were financed by William Ruto. Therefore, they owe their allegiance to William Ruto. Okay? And I can tell you that is not about to change. Because, they owe their allegiance to him. So, William has that group. Rigathi is fighting with them. What he should ignore that group and look for a new team and start working with that team for 2027. Now, on the other side, why would you expect again even William to
address
this issue when his opponent is frying? He's frying. He's trying to get out of the pressure cooker. He's in the pressure cooker. His fix is burning. He had boiling point.
So now
the only thing that William can do is to make sure that he doesn't come from that pressure cooker. Why do you expect him to talk about what?
Do you generally think?
And you already crashed your.
Do you think Rigathi is the opponent?
He is. Let me tell you what William is doing.
You said opponent.
William, he is an opponent. William is on the other side just smiling and hoping that this guy will not have enough energy to open that pressure cooker. He's in the pressure cooker.
Then talk to me about the strategy Gachagua is using going around Mount Kenya. Was in Kirinyaga, received very well. People singing for him. This strategy of calling out Uhuru in public, asking for forgiveness, will it work?
You see, it will work to a certain extent. It will work to a certain extent. But he must now take Uhuru Kenyatta's script and move with it. There are two things And when you go back to your people and you seem to be apologizing, there are two things that have happened. And these are things that are affecting everybody. Number one is heavy taxation on people, serious taxation on the people, destroying of businesses of people from central Kenya because of high taxes and harassment. Okay? So the people of central Kenya are suffering. They are completely suffering. They never expected to be in this situation. So when Uhuru was telling them that, I know I've been with this gentleman for X number of years. I understand him better than you do. Please, take my advice. Rigathi was in the forefront of saying, ignore this man. Okay? But now that he has gone back to the people, and he's saying, you know what? I should have listened to my brother. And I want us to come back as one and protect our interests. Because the Kikuyus are suffering. Their businesses are collapsing. Who is suffering most? Kikuyus. Or people from central Kenya. I don't want to be accused of being proud, but people from central Kenya are suffering the most. Who are business people in this country? Are they not people from central Kenya like yourself? You're the hustler, the real hustler.
Nairobi.
You're Nairobian. You're the real hustler,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Rigathi has seen a vacuum. Okay? And that is why he has cleverly reintroduced one man, 1 shilling, one vote. He must run with that one. Because they have now rediscovered that united, they stand strong, divided, they will fall. And Rigathi, using those two things, reminding them that, we are just one and we have common interests and we must protect our interests. I think that is what is attracting the people to Rigathi. So they're thinking that because he is probably closer to power, he probably can save them. Yeah, he can probably even start gaining currency and become a threat to William Ruto come 2027.
So what strategies should he implement now to strengthen his position? He says he's the most senior leader from the Mount Kenya region, and also to bring cohesion in the coalition that seems to be falling apart.
There are two things in Kenyan politics that you need. You don't need anything. You don't need honesty. You don't need anything. Number one, you need your tribe, especially if it's a big tribe, to be behind you. Those are numbers. To believe in you, to believe that you're a savior, to believe that you can provide the necessary leadership that is required. That is what Gachagua must do. But for him to do that one, he needs what? He needs support from all other political leaders. So he must make an effort to unify the leadership in Central Province. He must come down. He has gone to the people, excellent. Going to the people. Now he must, in a similar fashion, approach the other people, the other leaders from Central Province. Martha Karua, Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni. He must even try and speak to Kuria and tell him, okay, work with me, this is my time, your time is coming. So he needs now to create a team. Now, the second thing that he must do, he must now, and his luck, he comes from a community with people who are endowed financially. He must now start speaking to these people. He must speak to these people to be ready to fund his campaign come 2027. The last thing that Gachagua can also do is to look for other communities which are suffering. Because there are many that are suffering. So after regaining, and I'm hoping he does,
His backyard,
securing his backyard, he must now start, because the deputy president, just like Ruto did, he must start visiting other places. For the next 3 years, he must start visiting. He must now come to Western Province, and Province has 30%, like William Province has 30%. I've never seen that 30%. He must now go to Coast. He must go to Ukambani and talk to Kalonzo or Museo. I don't know what he'll give Kalonzo. Maybe run Kalonzo and accept to to be a running mate. So there are things that he can do to regain his relevance.
But you've said for 2027, are you telling Kenyans that Rigathi Gachagua is ripe for presidency?
He has numbers behind him. He just needs to galvanize that number behind him. He needs to get that number behind him.
Compete with
If
Ruto.
he gets that number behind him, he can now negotiate. He can go to Kalonzo, he can go to any other person and say, you know what, we want to break this jinx, this ping pong between Kalenjin, Kikuyu, ping pong. That you see, because I'm a good man, and the people just misunderstood me because of the rough edges that I do have, but now they're off. I want to give other communities a chance to provide leadership. And I can tell you if he does that, say pick a formidable candidate from Western Province, or a formidable candidate from Ukambani, just two blocks, or even negotiate with Raila. Forget about Muganga. He must now go back to Raila. He must go to and see. He must visit Raila. And again, I'm willing to take him to Raila. Okay, take him to Raila, negotiate. So he stands a better chance because see what William has done, and which makes him look terribly bad to the Mwananchi, is arrogance and heavy taxation on people. He doesn't care about Mwananchi anymore. He doesn't care about the hustler anymore. He is happy to inflict pain on Kenyans. So Rigathi should move out very quickly, like his boss did. He moved out very quickly and said, you know, I'm not part of this one. Me, I'm with the common man. So Rigathi should do the same thing, but hang into that office until the last minute. He should not leave that. He should not leave. He should not resign. He must stay in that office the way William did, up to the last minute. Use public resources to campaign and create.
You have spoken like a true politician.
Yes, he must not leave that office. Okay. Why should he leave that office? William never resigned. Did he resign?
No.
He didn't resign. He enjoyed the perks up to the last minute, receiving intelligence reports, and So I would urge Rigathi to stay put. In fact, to annoy William as much as he can, because that's what he did to his boss. William did to his boss.
Finally, I would want to know, we are looking at ambitions from different leaders. I think it's Anne Waiguru was saying, let's not personalize these offices. They belong to Kenyans. Anyone has a right to want to become something. And you're looking at the political landscape as it is. How are these power struggles within Kenya Kwanza going to affect the political landscape now and in 2027?
You know, everybody else in Kenya Kwanza is, I'm telling you, it's nothing. Kenya Kwanza is William Ruto. Yes. Oh, these are the small fry. Who are they? Do they have a war chest in terms of financial muscle? Zero. So most of them have stolen a little money. Most of them are just looters. So they have, they have enough cash to buy expensive watches and what have you, but they don't have cash to mount anything, to mount a formidable campaign, which is very necessary in Kenyan politics. You need a lot of financing. Do they have people behind them? All those characters in Kenya Kwanza, all of them put together in one basket. All of them, they have nothing. They are naked. They don't have support on the ground. They have nothing on the ground. So the only formidable politician there is one, William Ruto. He has the money to mount, and I'm sure now he's making even more. I'm sure he's doing well.
Yes.
So you can't beat him on that. The only time you can beat this man is doing what he did to Uhuru Kenyatta. So if I was in Rigachi's strategy team, and I'm going to talk to Prof, I don't know whether he's already in, I'll talk to him and find, he's my brother, elder brother. Sometimes, most of the time I listen to his advice. So if Rigachi is to succeed, let him do what his boss did for the next 3 years. Put salt and chili sauce and green pepper on the wound, because William has a wound. The wound that William has right now is coming from the pain he's inflicting on people. So those people, that is William's wound. You must continue adding pepper and green chilies. Add salt on the wound. Let people feel more pain. But make sure that you are not part of the pain. You say, you know what? I'm not the boss. The boss is the one who is creating these problems to you. Yeah. Run away from the problem. He must run away very fast from that problem and disassociate himself from who? From the president, like William did. He may not want to call hustler because people don't want to be reminded of hustlers. He must craft his own message, and we are here to help him craft a message that will resonate with the people of Kenya, that will resonate with the poor people, that will resonate with the people who have been inflicted with a lot of pain.
That is the conversation about Rigathi Gachagua, Kieleweke, Tanga. We're looking at that again. What is the future for Gachagua? Should he continue inflicting pain on President Ruto, as Kisia is putting it? Final word as we're wrapping up this particular Friday.
You see, for the first time, I want to differ with very many people, very many Kenyans. There's nothing wrong with this proposal of 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. Because it's about being fair. Why should other people receive 100 shillings, or you as a person, you receive 100 bob, I receive 1 shilling? Are you more Kenyan than me? So the issue of allocating 1 shilling to every person, for me, is good music. For me, being 1 is okay, because we don't want ghosts that you're 1 man. We don't want a ghost of you. For me, this issue of saying that you know, people have many, the population is higher than the rest of Kenyans. There's nothing that is stopping you from improving on your population. You must work hard to improve on your population. But we just want fairness. Finally, I know there are certain areas that have lagged behind because of injustices, that they have experienced because of ping pong. Because of ping pong. Kikuyu Kalenjin, ping pong. So when you find, when a Kikuyu is on the throne, all the resources are diverted to that region. All the appointments are diverted to one region. When this one takes over, the same thing. All the resources, all the appointments to one place. You wait and see how Rift Valley will progress in terms of infrastructure in the next, you can even see it. Okay? All government resources are going to one side. So what I'm also agreeing is that this equalization fund must be enhanced so that the areas that have been forgotten, that areas that have been marginalized are taken care of. That envelope needs to be enhanced. So even if it requires amending the constitution, we may call it BBI, whatever, 2, 3, whatever it is, to amend the constitution so that we make sure that in another 1 decade, that Kenya is equalized. And finally, the counties cannot keep on talking about being independent when you are dependent. You are waiting for money from the national kitty for your own survival. You are saying you have a vast of land, which is okay. You must thank God that you got it. But what are you doing with that resource that you are being given? You are just allowing it to be there. It is of no use to you. If it is no use to you, why do you want to pass that burden to other people? Make use of that resource that is God given to you. Make it productive. But I agree that we need to equalize. And maybe it is now time that we actually relook at the constitution so that we stop this thing of having the most powerful office going, it is either here, next time it comes here. That needs to stop so that we can have one Kenya.
Maybe that's a conversation we'll have, BBI 2, 3, whichever we'll call it, with Philip Kisia. But what is your take on revenue allocation formula? Leave a comment down below and also talk to me about Rigathi Gachagua versus Ruto, the tiff that is happening. What does the future hold for us? Kisia, thank you so much for coming through once again. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, and Jed, have a beautiful weekend. I'm sure, you know, I think this week, man, I think something has happened. I think you guys must have been seen behind the tent.
Your tongue, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Have yourself a lovely rest of your week.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house, this is not Sogoi. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.